Hello and welcome to the Friday edition of Joy News Interactive with me, Mabita CBD. This is where your views are prioritized. So as usual, join the conversation on social media. We are Joy News on TV, on Facebook and Twitter. Our WhatsApp number is 055-815-7074. So finally, it's about to go down. I'm sure that's the song most Arsenal fans are singing after Wenger decided to step down at the end of the season. Or is it the final countdown? Well, that's on our menu today. And is it true that the world lacks strong leaders? Remember, the show is coming to you live from digital address GA0992539 here in Kokomemle, Accra. We're also on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Now, let's set the ball rolling with this. The world is messy and lacking strong leaders. The former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan has said cool heads and sober judgment are needed to tackle the world's conflict. He was speaking on BBC's Hard Talk with Zainab Badawi, and here's an excerpt of that interview.
I think I went through difficult moments at the UN. You've referred to some of them, including the Iraq War. But the world is particularly messy today when we look at what is happening in the Middle East, what is happening in some parts of Africa, some parts of Asia, and also the fact that I don't see the strong leaders around who could cope with it.
So you don't think there are strong leaders in the world today? I mean, there's Donald Trump in the White House, and he's making very strong, robust statements about Syria now, for instance, saying that the suspected chemical attack in Douma that we've just seen recently, killing dozens of people, including children, needs a robust response. Yeah,
different people have different definitions of leadership. I believe that leadership is not about the individual. When you have macho leaders who believe they have to shine and it all has to be about them, forgetting that what is required is the welfare of society and the people they serve.
Are you referring to Donald Trump, though? Because when you look at what's happened in Syria, so many people are appalled by that recent attack, and we saw one also last year. And, you know, he referred to Bashar al-Assad, president of Syria, as a gas-killing animal. And he has said, we've got to have a response, get ready for nice, new, smart missiles in Syria.
I don't approve of that. Not only don't I approve of that, I like the Secretary General's position. He said, what is required?
Secretary General of the UN, Antonio
Guterres, said, what is required is unfettered investigation to determine who was responsible, hold them to account, and ensure that impunity is not allowed to stand. And we, the elders issued a statement which I, as chairman, share very much, that what we need is cool heads and sober judgment. We cannot allow situations where leaders threaten war on television or on Twitter. Do we base ourselves on facts or speed? We've seen this before.
Cool heads and sober judgments. Let's go to Facebook, and this is what you had to say. Stephen Owusu says, hey, Ghanaians are in slogans and lacking capacity to implement it. Kofi Annan is talking about strong leaders and what are the plans he executed when he was in office as a strong leader. Let's see if we can get more comments at K. Spunky says, a typical Ghanaian. He has no more part, so everything is wrong today. These current world leaders, of which majority of them are less than 2 years old in office, are not the cause of today's problems if blames are to be portioned. Okay, so let's go to Kojo, who says, absolutely, Mr. Kofi Annan had seen it all, and if he says the world needs strong leaders, then I agree. I'm glad he said strong leaders and not strong people. Leaders are the difference. Kwame Sapong says, so what is he doing? I thought with his outfit he could breed new faces of leaders for African continent by now. He has been out of office for more than a decade. How many leaders has he created through some program of his? All right, people should check what ex-president Barack Obama is doing with his foundation. He's breeding a new set of young leaders all over the world with his outfit. Brian Jeremiah comes in to say, World war contractors must be fished out. Love for humanity should be the major campaign if we're really serious in tackling world conflicts. Yabo Solomon says, what makes it messy in the place, I think, is the world superpowers who are behind all this world mess. Because of power, worth, and an agenda, Third World War is not far from us. Peace, I'm out. And Maxwell Bailey says, okay, let's see if we can go to Vincent Mensah, who says, exactly like Ghana, we are lacking leaders. And Edward says, but Obama once said, we don't need strong leaders, we need strong institutions. Correct, but we need strong leaders to run those strong institutions, Edward. And Frederick comes to say that our president, all right, and that's Frederick's opinion over there. And La Daniel says he's a man of dignity, referring to Kofi Annan. And Valanya Akatia says, I perfectly agree with him. So those are your comments on Facebook. Keep them coming on Joy News on TV. Let's move to Swaziland, or is it Eswatini? Well, King Mswati III of Swaziland has announced that he has renamed the country the Kingdom of Eswatini. The monarch announced the official change in a stadium during celebrations for the 50th anniversary of Swazi independence. The new name Eswatini means land of the Swazis. The change was unexpected, but King Mswati has been referring to Swaziland for years as Eswatini. But does a change in name bring ultimate development? As the question we're asking you on Facebook. Walter says, did the change of name from Gold Coast to Ghana bring any development? And that's the question we're asking you, Walter. We want to know, does a change in name bring ultimate development? And Kojo Amir says, not at all. The change has to be in the mind and not the name of the country. Let's see if we can get Dersevan says, it's a good idea to make a country develop on the heads, transform the ideas and refine them, and put selfishness and above all corruption aside. Then you're on the path to development. Yabo Solomon says, no, not. Those arguing that is because of the colonial identity associated with the name. Our colonial name, Gold Coast, then was far, far better than the present Ghana in terms of development. So ultimate development depends on vision and a courageous leader. German says, maybe it can, since Swaziland was a colonial name. And Papa Wanki says, no. And the next name we have to change is Africa to Africo. And Valanyo Akatia says, I don't know, by the way, why not last year, but the year of his birthday, Africa Pa. And Chris Adika thinks that this is irrelevant. Well, it's time for me to go drink some water, and when I return, we'll talk about Arsene Wenger's decision to leave at the end of the season. Stay tuned. So some have decided to call it the delayed news because they think this should have come in a long time ago. Anyway, better late than never, right? Arsenal's coach Arsene Wenger has announced he will step down at the end of the season, with supporters largely praising his 21-year tenure. The Ghana's boss will bring to an end a term that has lasted more than 21 years, winning 3 Premier League titles and 7 FA Cup triumphs. Let's talk to Gary L. Smith, a sports journalist of international repute. He joins us via Skype. Hi, Gary. Hello, Gary. Can you hear me? Okay, so we don't have Gary. Let's go to Facebook, where Abbas says, great man, you are indeed Arsenal, and Arsenal is for you. Forever the father of Arsenal, we the fans say thank you, and we love you so much. Vincent Mensah comes in to say that Chelsea signs Arsene Wenger after an end of era at Arsenal, more to follow. Yabo Solomon says, okay, he cares less, and Kwesi says, Party Papa Wenger for doing the honorable thing. And Papa Wonky says, nothing is permanent in this world. You did your part, while someone must continue. And Priscilla says, God bless. Happy, blissful retirement. And Imafifi says, we football lovers will miss you. So those are some of your comments on Facebook. Let's go to Gilly Sylvia, who says he's done a great job and deserves praises. And William says, amen, goodbye Papa, you've made strong to not fear a broken heart from any lady. And let's see if we can get more comments on that. Surface Logic says, you will say this and stay later. So those are some of your comments on that. On Facebook, we're drawing news on TV. And then Nitechi says, to God be the glory. And Ruby says, wow. And Osaman says, good news of the year. And Prince Joe says, well done, manager. Isaac says, I can confidently come home now. So those are some of your comments. And Israel says, that's great. And Kwabana says, Kabana says, I don't think so. So those are some of your comments on Facebook, and on Twitter we are drawing news on TV. Let's see if we can get any WhatsApp messages. So this WhatsApp message is referring to the strong leaders. So we have such a strong leader in our country and we're suffering like this. Ghana. And this is Eric from Eric Nee from Society Aid Ghana. So we're discussing Kofi Annan's the interview on the Heart Talk, where he's talking about strong leaders. Another WhatsApp message is from Musa Prestia, who says it would be the right time for Wenger to leave for good to avert the concurrent defeat of the club. He can assist the backstage team to give backup. So those are your WhatsApp messages. Do keep them coming through. We would really appreciate it. On Facebook and Twitter, we are Draw News on TV. So we're going to take a quick breather. We'll be back with more. Welcome back. So let's go to Twitter, where Wenger is trending, and at Nee McVie says, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Sky Sports News. Let's see if we can get that tweet. The Euro, the iPod, MK Dons, and the RB Lopez all didn't exist when Wenger took over at Arsenal. So that is a tweet. Let's see if we can get more tweets on that. This is at Gabby. At Gabby Dako says, best birthday present ever. Thank you, Wenger. We'll celebrate your exit with Europa Cup final victory. Let's see if we can get more tweets on that. At LT, Arsenal says, the biggest compliment I can give Arsene Wenger is that at his best, he was an invincible, and at his lowest, he's in the semi-finals of a European competition. And at Toby Jizzle says, as a United fan, I thought I was ready for Wenger to leave, but I'm not. The memories of the intense United versus Arsenal rivalry during my childhood have all come rushing back. It's not the same these days, but he was like the last remaining piece. Now, let's go to Gary L. Smith on the phone lines. Hi, Gary.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So, did you see this coming?
No. Nobody saw it coming.
And
nobody did.
So what does this mean to Arsenal and the football community?
Well, it means for Arsenal, first of all, it means that they have the opportunity to transition properly. And in like every serious organization, you don't wait for the end of a period before you start looking for a replacement for whoever is the leader. And in teams, especially in Germany, they do this a lot. So before the end of the season, they announce a new manager. And what it does is that it gives everybody the peace of mind. It allows the players to be settled, to know what their future is. You know, some players are in certain teams because of certain managers. So if I know that Arsene Wenger is the reason why I came, and he's given advance notice that he's leaving, I can then start looking for somewhere else to play. For Arsenal, though, it means then that they have to quietly, and I suspect they'll be quietly looking for a replacement in the background to announce soon. For the players, they know that they may want to win the Europa League, like one of your commenters just said, for him, because he's been an outstanding servant for the club, and he deserves to go on a high. But how will they remember him? Well, some have said that for the first 10 years he was brilliant. For the following 12 years, he was, as it were, he was a specialist in failure who lost touch with the game. But no matter what you think, he profoundly affected how the game is played in England and around the world.
And Gary, so who's expected to take over there?
Well, usually when these things happen, the best place to start looking is the betting websites, because, you know, you start taking the odds and so on. And as we speak, some of the big betting agencies in the world are tipping Carlo Ancelotti to be the favorite to take the job. However, if I know Arsenal well, Arsenal are one of those, you know, very conservative clubs. Just like they surprised everybody with the announcement this morning, they will go about their recruitment processes very quietly and make an announcement that is going to shock everybody. Another coach that is, we are told, is being looked at is Leonardo Jardim. He is based in France as well. And you are going to hear a lot of names there. There's going to be a lot of talk about why Arsenal is an English club, and so an English coach should be given an opportunity. In that case, the manager of Burnley Football Club, Sean Dyche, will be a favorite to land the job. Also, the current German national team coach, who has just won the World Cup in 2014, his name is in the hat as well, even though he has not confirmed or made any statement to say that he's even interested in the job. His name is Joachim Löw. Yeah.
So there are talks about former player Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira becoming the successor. Will any of them fit the bill?
Yes, Patrick Vieira especially. His name has come in strongly. He's had a little bit of a coaching stint. He more than Thierry Henry. Henry is just a club legend, nothing more. He doesn't have any coaching experience. But Patrick Vieira is seen as somebody with the temperament to lead a dressing room like that. You know, the kind of coach that when he says go up, you go up. When he says go down, you go down. That kind of coach. And sometimes all you need is a personality like that who understands the game. But some people also feel that Arsenal right now, because of how volatile they are, they need an experienced hand for the moment, somebody to guide them through the transition phase before a more long-term replacement will be sought. So no matter what we think, it's the management that will come up with the decision. But as for Wenger, his legacy cannot be taken away from him, no matter how bad things have been in the last couple of years. And also, just to add, he's had a very rich history with African players. I don't think there's any manager in England's football history who has given so many African players a chance. Not one. Yeah.
So I know you're an Arsenal fan. So how did you receive the news?
Wow, you had to go there.
Yes, I had to. I had to take it all the way.
Well, anybody who watches my programs, follows my posts on social media knows that I keep a very objective view of Arsenal. I don't take it to heart at all. When Arsenal lose a game, I don't take it personally. I think that I stopped feeling so bad about Arsenal's result like maybe 5 years ago, you know, when after a particularly bad run of games, I decided, you know what, I mean, I probably need to keep my heart for other more important issues. So I'm not stopped supporting the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't take it as bad. It was only last week we were discussing on our football programs, and I said that I thought this was a good time for Arsene to leave. You know, for his own sake, he should leave when the applause is where it's at the moment.
And what's your fondest memory of him?
My fondest memory? Well, the glory days. I mean, I became an Arsenal fan growing up when the club was transitioning into becoming a force. So that is when I fell in love with the club. So my favorite memories were when Arsenal was winning things, you know, 2002, 2003, you know, the era of the Invincibles. Arsenal is the only team that has gone the entire season unbeaten and won the title. Those were good times. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then he had one famous saying where he was asked at a press conference what he thought about, you know, one other coach said something nasty about one of his players.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He said, well, everybody has got the prettiest wife at home.
Everybody has the prettiest wife at home.
Yes, every man has the prettiest wife at home.
So it's basically like your grass is always greener on your side.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Gary Al Smith, and he's with Joy Sports. Let's go back to Twitter, where at Oli Holt 22 said his prediction. So he's giving us his prediction there. He says Arsenal fans will soon have persuaded themselves. Let's see if we can get that full tweet at Oli Holt 22. So he says his prediction is that Arsenal fans will soon have persuaded themselves that the Emirates remained a bower of love and affection for their greatest man is that nobody ever carried a Wenger outside or screamed abuse at him, and that is the media that did for him. So that tweet got 220 retweets and 706 likes. Let's see if we can go to at Richard A. J Keys. So that's your Twitter there, Joy News on TV. And he says, sources tell #BN Sports that Arsenal Wenger has recommended Patrick Vieira to replace him. The Arsenal board are split down the middle on his advice. So those are some of your comments on Facebook and Twitter. We are Joy News on TV. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Friday edition of Joy News Interactive. You know, we're on DSTV channel 41 and GoTV channel 144. On Facebook and Twitter, we are Joy News on TV. So keep the conversation flowing. Thank you for watching.